Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I am joined by Ryan Stevens for a game with maybe my favorite title I've ever gotten to say on the podcast. We are playing The Moon Fucking Hates You. Ryan is a writer, a playwright, a director, and one half of the Nation of Animation podcast, a cartoon book club podcast for all ages, in which he and Brooke Aaron Smith sit down every other week to discuss classic cartoons through a modern lens and celebrate everything that the art form has to offer. You can find more information about Nation of Animation as well as everything else Ryan's got going on in the show notes. The Moon Fucking Hates You by H.L. Black is, honestly, it's pretty much a game about exactly what it says on the tin. It's a game about the moon. It's a game about you. It's a game about the moon that wants you dead. You kind of just got to deal with that. When I tell you I've never been hooked by a game faster than The Moon Fucking Hates You, it's because I've never in my life been hooked by a game faster than The Moon Fucking Hates You. It's such a fun premise. It's such a funny premise. It the tone and the style of it just goes to 11 so quickly that I think it's so up my alley. And I've been so giddy about this ever since we played it. I think that you're going to love the game that we played. I think it's very funny, very silly. I can't wait for you to hear it. You can find more information about The Moon Fucking Hates You at hollycrown.itch.io or check the show notes for more information.
When fandom is about community, so are we. Whether you're watching blockbuster fantasy like The Lord of the Rings or cozying up with your favorite comic book, the Lorehounds are here as your guides to great stories. Search for the Lorehounds in any podcast feed or head to our website, thelorehounds.com, to find links to all our conversations, whether on air or with listeners on our Discord server. See you this fall for weekly coverage of Dune Prophecy and Silo.
And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am really excited today to be sitting down with Ryan Stevens. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Real quick, at the top of the episode, before we get into our very serious, very somber game that we are going to be playing today, why don't you take a moment to let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about?
Of course. So I am a fellow podcaster. I host the show Nation of Animation, which is a cartoon book club podcast with my partner. We're watching all sorts of tunes from all over the world in all eras, bringing a sort of scholarly and enthusiastic lens to everything from trying to define morality in the Despicable Me films and what is the concept of evil to the Minions, and also trying to cover all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood in a single episode after a single week. So we run the gamut there. I'm also the GM for the actual play anthology podcast Blank City Nowhere, where we play multiple games to tell the same story of the same central location. We are very soon going to come back from a years-long hiatus for season 2 for that, so I'm very excited about that, and I'm very excited to be rolling dice here as well. Those are my big projects that people can follow, so those are my main relevant experiences. So game time.
What's the last cartoon that you truly watched and fell head over heels in love with?
We watched Carol in the End of the World, the Netflix one about the sort of corporate malaise. I was really charmed by that one in a way I did not expect to be. So I would say that has been our most recent gem we found.
I wish that my answer was slightly more recent than 1994, but sometimes that's the way that our lives go. But we have been rewatching the original 90s Tick cartoon.
Ooh, love that one. Oh,
Holds
man.
up way better than I thought that it would.
That was one of our first big contentious episodes where we had different opinions, me and my co-host. But boy, I hold a candle for that show so brightly.
I really didn't expect it to be such a love letter to superheroes. Mm-hmm. I remember the bits. I remember hanging out at a diner. I remember that all the heroes are kind of bad and sort of theoretically ineffectual, but I did not remember how much how much it genuinely loves the superhero medium is what really caught me off guard in this. We've been watching it alongside the 2016 Amazon series, and it's been striking me. I'm like, this is actually just really good superhero storytelling, which I did not anticipate in either case.
Yeah, the earnestness is really a lost art. We've really lost our way of just big-hearted, sincere joy. I mean, you can draw a straight line from the Tick to the Venture Brothers, and that sort of loving perspective on what it means to live in a world where people can do super things and are also still regular people and goofballs and screw ups. But boy, the Tick show is a warm sweater of a show if there ever was one.
It truly is. I was expecting a much meaner show, and the love and sincerity, you've got the exact right word, that like it hits in a way that I was absolutely not anticipating.
Oh, what a great pick. What a great show. I'm so happy for you getting to experience that.
I'm having a blast. Like it was truly probably the maybe second cartoon, maybe third, or like it was probably the second superhero cartoon I ever remember experiencing. Like I saw it when it originally aired. At the risk of aging and dating myself, I saw it when it originally aired, and it probably closely followed Batman as like one of my earliest superhero media memories. But like, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two high watermarks. Those are the two best for sure. Of like what a cape can be.
They're pretty good. Of that period, they're pretty special. So we are playing something very special today. We are playing, and I'm so excited to just get to say the name of the game. We're playing The Moon Fucking Hates You. It is a game about the moon and you. It wants you dead. Sorry.
It's like cellar door. It's just such one of the most beautiful phrases in the English language. The moon fucking hates you.
Was so excited. H.L. Black, the game's designer, sent this to me. I was like, hey, would you take a look at this and let me know if you consider it for the show? And I saw the title and was like, we can find an opportunity for this. This we can find space for, because sometimes you get a title that is just so good that like it sells you on everything else in the game. Sometimes the title does a lot of the heavy lifting. And the game's great, but the title is immaculate. So, let me give you the game's pitch. What? You heard me. This is a game about the moon and you. It wants you dead. Like really. Throwing monsters and meteors, everything. Think Majora's Mask or Critical Role's Ruinous or Pathfinder's Grotus, other media that TV tropes failed to show me, but that I know exist. Why? I think it's cool when fiction does this. Also, it's funny. No, why does the moon hate me? Oh, I don't know. That's up to you. Where? Anywhere. This works for when, too. You want a fantasy game, a sci-fi game? You want to play a couple of schmucks in a Roland Emmerich film? All of this is written in capital text, and therefore, like, tonally, it's crucial that you understand the tone as I read it. And I think I did it justice. So, that's the premise of the game. The moon fucking hates you and wants to kick your ass. So the big question that I guess that's the first question that I have for you. It's silly to say. What are you excited about? What are you bringing to the table? What do you want to get out of this, out of the game that we are playing today?
I mean, you sent me a number of potential games to play, and this one jumped out at me because, like you say, the title, one, it's just very, very good phonetically, and it sets the imagination reeling to hear it. But it really does tell you, like, this is what you're going to be doing in the game. It's not like a single word. You know, Dungeons and Dragons is all well and good. Presumably you'll encounter both of those on a long enough timeline. But it's not called, like, stabbing goblins for 40 hours. This is called The Moon Fucking Hates You. So you know going in that it's going to be you versus the moon. I'm interested in just the sort of how far we can push that. I think the way it name drops Roland Emmerich in the rule book is a useful bellwether for it, because I think I want to, I guess, just like see how far I can push the gonzo premise here. I don't want it to be too, straightforward or easy for me or the moon.
For sure. I think this is an exercise in bigger, is what I would say. This is an exercise in we are going to continue to escalate further until we reach whatever the breaking point of the story that we're telling is. I think that's a reasonable expectation for what's about to unfold.
I mean, our cartoon conversation earlier, I think, is relevant here, because equal parts I'm pulled to, like, how would Looney Tunes do this? How would Bugs Bunny besiege the moon? Or how would the moon besiege Daffy Duck? Because I think those would be the aggressors in those cases. And then the flip side is like, well, what's the anime version of this? What is the, like, how can the power of friendship make me defy God? In this case, the moon, so to speak.
Well, and it's funny thinking about the cartoon conversation. Like the fact that the Tick saw the moon has Cha written on it for the entire length of the series, and then a bite taken out of it.
That's continuity.
It's good. It's great continuity, and it's that level of. There's a matter of factness to. We used a laser to write part of a word on the moon that I think feels like the vibe that I am bringing to the table. It is, and I think this kind of ties into the where and when situation. Like, this ties into the where, when, and who situation a little bit is there's a, like, I guess I want to ask you, like, is there a setting that you are particularly feeling drawn towards, or like a genre space? Because I think, a strong feeling, but I don't want to. I want to hear what you've got first.
Yeah, I mean, I was toying with this in my head earlier today, thinking like in what era or scenario could one be beset by the moon? And, there's a version of this that is very, in the modern day, and I'm just like a regular schmuck who the moon decides to hate. There is, I like the Tick version of this, we're in like a big city and it's like very brightly colored and exaggerated. And I think that is like kind of where I'm like pulling toward. And other high genre stuff is useful. Like we could do this like in a fantasy setting, or like, we're already in space, so the moon is just there. But I am very drawn to like the exaggerated thing here is the moon, and its feelings towards me. And like you're saying, like writing your name on the moon, that petty things can happen here in extraordinary ways. We will use giant lasers to essentially do graffiti, and that is a useful use of resources. That level of like, it's absurd and outsized in possibility, but motivation is very like personal and petty is interesting to me.
That's exactly where my heart was at, because like I think you hit it on the head. There's an inexplicable nature to setting it in the modern day that is the most compelling option to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is the fact that if we were to, in my mind, if we pivot towards fantasy or sci-fi or any number of other things, then the idea of the moon being pissed off starts to feel plausible.
Right.
And like, I want, especially in the early game, for like the concept, like I want the title to continue to land with an exclamation point. And there's something about like, if you woke up in your bed tomorrow and you got word like, oh yeah, the moon fucking hates you.
I was like me?
That's the, that's the energy.
It
and then whatever you do
before.
to deal with it, like it builds from the fact that it's like, why me? I didn't do shit. All right, so we have talked through a little bit of like the vibe. We've talked through a little bit of the where, when, and why. So I think that we are ready to like work through character creation, work through who you are, what you can do, and what the fight between you and the moon is going to look like. There are a few things that make up a character: a name, a profession, the phase of the moon, which gives you certain sort of like moon magical abilities, how much hate you have towards the moon at a given moment, your current health, and whatever equipment you have. So we will start with, this is modern day. Breaking news: the moon has come to life and declared a grudge with one specific person. Who is that person and what is their profession?
Okay, so before I have the name, because I'm still working on the name, but the profession, I had an image today of someone roller skating down a busy city street toward or away from the moon, but like roller skating with great purpose and with the 90s like brightly colored sort of confetti patterned skating gear. So I think the person's job is they work at a roller rink.
Okay,
I am a roller rinker, and that locomotion is going to be the thing that carries me through this battle.
I am immediately throwing in the detail because it is important to me. Like, there's two very real possibilities when we discuss the idea of bringing in a roller rink.
Mm-hmm.
There is this a successful roller rink? And then there's the idea that I think like immediately flies to my heart, which is it is an unsuccessful roller rink.
No, yeah, of course it's not successful. It's the modern day. It's our number one customers are like TikTok influencers who come in and do a silly dance and scuff up all our equipment and leave. No, it's not good. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm. I had enough going on before the moon declared me an enemy. So this is just what I needed today.
This feels great. This feels good. Okay. So you are a roller rink manager. That is your profession. Mm-hmm. In situations where that becomes applicable, you can, every action you take is going to be based on 2d12, which are your moon dice. Optionally, if I feel applicable in certain situations, I might have you roll a lunar die, which is an extra special third die. But in situations where your profession comes in handy, you can re-roll your lowest die result, and then you must keep that second roll. It is at the start of our story, I have randomly rolled the phase of our moon. Despite its fucking hating you, the moon magic can still bless you in different ways. Maybe it's the sun's light leaking around it. Who knows? It is currently a full moon, which means you gain a lunar die whenever you come up to it with a creative solution to a problem, whether or not that solution succeeds.
Well, great. Thanks, Moon. What luck?
It's, it's the nature of whatever has brought the moon to life. There's just sort of magic in the air.
Perfect. So for name, what is a good name for a person who works at a roller rink? My name is gonna be Claire, not Daloon. That'd be too easy. But Claire Hopkins.
Claire Hopkins is good. She, her pronouns?
Yes.
Great.
Let's go with that for Claire.
Okay. So let's talk about hate.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So the moon fucking hates you. Whoop-de-doo. Hate it back. You start with one hate unless you start with one hate. You can, anytime you roll under a 13 on a roll that includes a lunar die, you gain an additional point of hate. You can have up to 10 hate at any given time. You can spend hate to gain a bonus on a roll. So you can add 1 to 5 points to any roll by spending points of hate. If you spend 3 hate, you can add an extra d12 to damage. And if you spend 6 hate, you can add a 2d6 to damage. And finally, if you have 8 or more hate and drop to 0 health, your hate is spent, you automatically recover half of your HP, because you're not going to let something as shitty as the moon do you in. I love the writing in this game. Truly.
It's great.
So much.
Really puts you in the shoes of this person.
You have 100 HP. You will lose some of that as you go, but at the moment, you can say that you have exchanged some of that health for an extra point of hate to a minimum. So if you'd like to have extra hate at the start of the game, you can lower your starting health to make that trade-off. Is that something you would like to do?
Yeah, let's have a little fun with it. I'm going to lower my HP to have 3 hate. So I am going to,
so you're at 70 health and you've got, 3. Do you want 3 extra hate or start at 3 hate?
Start at 3. So yeah.
Okay, so you're at 80, you're at 80 health.
Yes.
And you start at 3 hate.
That sounds good to me. I take umbrage at this. The fact that I'm the person that gets called out. I really, like, you're gonna hate me. I will hate you right back.
I love this. I love this dearly. Do you have any weapons or gear at the start of our story?
Skates, 1.
Skates, perfect gear. You can apply those to any situation where skates become a factor.
Mm-hmm.
The way that gear works is you can it's a consumable object where you can burn it to do a thing. We will talk through like what we want that to be. It'll kind of just be hey, I'm going to use my skates and get something, and then we'll go from there.
Right. Sounds good.
Is there anything else that you want on your person at the start of the story?
I would like to have like pads, knee pads and elbow pads and a helmet and such.
We'll call that armor, I think. I think that counts as like you've got skate pads. That feels good.
In terms of a weapon, I don't know what I feel like that's going to, on-site procurement. I'll have to figure something out as I'm going.
Okay. So, with that, we have filled out the character and we can start the game. Which is truly like deciding how to start this exact story is maybe like where to put the start is the hardest decision in this entire game for me. Because everything else from there is just going to be responding and going bigger. Where the starting point, I think it's a breaking news bulletin.
I think that's such a funny way to start it. Like the fact that the moon has announced formally is really, really sets me in the mood of like, what do you mean? What are you talking about, moon?
Breaking news. The moon, beloved object in the night sky, has come to life and declared a nemesis. Reasons for the moon's decision are unclear. What is clear, though, is that the moon has a grudge with Claire Hopkins, roller rink manager. And
it's the shittiest, most accidentally candid photo that it's like cropped from me in the background of someone else's selfie.
Yeah. And one thing is clear, the moon has made its intentions known that it is not walking away until only one is left standing. More at 11.
I'm at work and I'm like, Patty, I'm taking my lunch right now. I gotta go.
It's just about the moon thing?
Yeah, it's the moon.
Yeah, it's about the moon thing.
Yeah. The thing, it's trying to kill me, Patty.
I mean, like, did you do something to piss it off?
No, I don't do it. How could I piss it off?
I don't know. Were you a dick to the moon?
I don't think I've given the moon any thought. And if that's what did it to me, then I feel like I shouldn't be the only one it hates.
I mean, I think about the moon all the time.
Well, I'm thinking about it now.
Do you not think about the moon? You not think about, like, when it hits your eye like a big pizza pie?
That's a less for me. I guess I should have given it more thought, but I'm certainly keeping it front of mind currently, Patty.
All right. Well, you know what? Take the rest of the day. We are gonna have to have you. I mean, especially there's a child's birthday party on Saturday, so like you're gonna be working a double shift. It was kind of they just called today, so like why don't you take the rest of the day, go figure out why the moon wants you dead. And
I gotta settle it today. I can't let this sit. Like, I'll be back tomorrow.
We'll just have you work a double shift on Saturday. Does that sound good?
That seems fair.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Patty.
It's pretty quiet day anyway. One confused, like one awkward teenage influencer just wipes out. Patty looks over. All right.
Thank you, Patty.
So
sound of wheels hitting like varnished wood.
As you walk outside, it is a meteor shower all around. Like it is the moment in 28 Days Later when Cillian Murphy walks outside for the first time, and it's just like walking into a disaster film, and it is a full-fledged meteor shower outside.
And when I walked into work, it was a cloudless, sunny day.
Yeah, perfectly ordinary. Now there's
like,
just
oh god.
And like there are TVs on buildings that usually show ads showing news reports from other places being like, it's calm across the rest of the country, but cosmic chaos outside of what's the name? Hold on.
Oh, what city are we in? Good question. Pleasantville. It's,
outside of Blade Runner roller rink in Pleasantville, it is cosmic chaos. And they cut to a weather person just being like, all around Pleasantville, it is a perfectly ordinary day. We're looking at, smooth, easy temperatures in the mid 70s. Break out those shorts, but maybe keep a flannel in your backpack. But if you are in the immediate vicinity of Blade Runner roller rink at Pleasantville on the corner of Main and 32nd, take shelter, because it seems like the moon is firing off meteors in all directions in a blood grudge against this person, Claire Hopkins.
It's a little hard to not be insulted by just still being called this person. Like say it to a TV that I'm like running past.
So you are being bombarded with meteors. What are you doing?
Okay. I think I'm trying to take cover in a very like running from thing to thing. I'm running like under bus stop awnings and like into shops and out of shops, trying to time it very quickly. I don't want to burn any of my gear right quick yet.
Okay,
I think that it's a little early to be like, and no more roller skating for me, but I will if necessary.
Okay, so then I think this is going to be a straight roll. I could see an argument where your profession comes up, but I will leave that up to you. And so give me 2d12, add them together, and tell me what you get.
All right. Well, the first one was a 1, so this is a fantastic start. And then the second one was a 7, so that is 8 total. I'm going to let it ride because I think that like dodging air projectiles is not within my usual job description. It's subtly beyond the usual like maneuvering on skates. So I'm going to accept that I'm not an expert.
I think that you're able to take cover. You lay low, you hide, you duck, you cover. And one giant meteor, like you are safe, you are protected. The area all around you is battered with asteroids, and the one that touches down There's a moment of calm. Everything stops. And when you peek out from behind this car, you see one of these meteorites pop out legs and arms and stand up and dust itself off and start punching its fist.
Oh, come on. I audibly go, come on.
And it looks, and it gives you the Hulk Hogan point.
Yeah, sure.
It's coming at you. Real casually, like
it's like I'm not even a threat.
I'm fully envisioning like a golem, like the Pokemon Golem. Mm-hmm. It's just like cracking its neck, walking towards you.
In my head, its arms and legs are just like, very cartoon. It's just like line art of like single line for legs, single line for foot, like 4 spindly fingers, and yet all the meaning is conveyed.
It's just strolling. It grabs off of the ground a chunk of rebar and puts it into its teeth like a toothpick. And it's just strolling.
Hey, can we talk this out?
Nah.
Can we talk? No? Okay. Does the moon, can I interest you in taking me to the moon so we could fight one-on-one? Or is this like, does the moon doesn't want to kill me, it just wants me dead?
I think pauses for a second. Make me an offer.
Shit. I can offer you free birthday parties at Blade Runner Roller.
Give me a 2d12 roll.
Okay. 3.
But I think also take a lunar die because this is a creative solution to the problem.
All right. That's a 3 and a 5. I would like to use the lunar die I just got.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, that one was a 9, so my total is now 17.
17 is a success. Pauses, moves the rebar from one side of its mouth to the other.
Like a cigar?
Uh-huh. I say that because I am specifically miming right now, moving something back and forth like a cigar.
I can tell the sound work is really clear.
Good, I'm glad. I do love rollerblading.
It's fun. I mean, we have
do you have lessons?
Yeah, we do the lessons. We can turn the black light on. There's optional disco, but you don't have to. Some guests.
What about TikTok dances?
Oh,
can you teach TikTok dances?
Honestly, we can. Yes, we have people on staff who can.
And it's free. It's not like I'm going to have to pay for the TikTok classes on top of the class.
For you, it's free. For you, it is free. Yes. And for your guests, I'm not trying to be sneaky there, but yes, I'm
not asking for more than a +1, to be clear. I'm not trying to screw you.
Wow, that's great. No, that makes things so much easier for all of us because then we can really personalize the experience for you and your +1.
That's great. Mm-hmm. This is a good This is good. This is a good
Is
deal.
this for you or is this for your +1? Are you going to surprise them with it?
We've been looking for an activity to do together. He's been, he and I, we've been married for a while,
Oh, wow. That's great.
It's been a couple million, and he kind of grabs the rebar and tosses it into the ground.
Other meteors just falling all over the place around us as this.
We've been married for so long. It's been like a couple eons, and so you start. It's not boredom.
Sure.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's like inertia. Yeah.
And so we want to find some ways to add some glee. This feels like an opportunity.
Blade Runner Roller Rink. You tell them Claire sent you. We'll set you up right.
All right. You want to go to the moon?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
This is much easier than the other plan I had, which was before the meteor grew legs. I was going to try and just lure meteors to land on top of each other until I had built a ladder to the moon. So this is much more convenient.
Yeah, this actually comparatively is working great for you. He just kind of taps his shoulder. Up on.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm going to call for a roll to hold on.
Of course, that makes sense.
I think that you are entering low orbit.
Okay, so I got a 3 and a 10, so it's 13 total. Average success, says the rule book.
It is still the most miserable experience that you have ever gone through.
Yeah, I mean, full G-force, the whole thing where my gums are flapping ridiculously. Yeah, I mean, I'm in true agony.
The whole time. It just, I don't, it's tough because I don't want to, I don't know. Am I trying too hard? I just feel like, I don't want it to feel fake. I'm trying. I'm giving what I got here, and I just want to make sure that he sees that. And so, I don't know.
No, it's good to show effort. It's good to show the people that you care.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Did you want some rebar?
I ate beforehand. Thank you, though.
All right. Sick.
Actually, I would love some for later.
Hands you. All right, let's build a weapon because he got a
+1 rebar.
Hands you a chunk of rebar.
I said no, thank you, and like every bone in my body was like, "You fool! You're getting an item."
I didn't even think of it as a weapon because in my I hadn't been thinking about size. It is funny if it's like
it's just a snack.
If it's sledgehammer sized and he's holding it like a cigar, that's very funny.
Yeah, rebar with a big chunk of concrete still attached to it.
All right, so weapons have tags. The way that they work is they have up to 3 tags. Most weapons start with 1 tag, guns start with 2, one of which is usually the concussive tag. A few examples are vicious, unwieldy, poisoned, concussive, balanced, positionable. Talk to me and we can also make up additional things as we want from the scenario. Like, talk to me about what the maybe like 1 or 2 essential qualities of the rebar that is now in your hand. Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I think unwieldy does immediately come to mind because it's a big fucking like hammer of rebar, which is not usually what I do. But I do also want to add, like, the word that came to mind for me was like hefty, but I guess that's the same way to say like vicious, and that it is like extra powerful and also a little awkward to use.
I would say, I'm trying to think through how, like, I know what you're trying to say with bulky. I don't think it's quite the same as vicious.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'm
going to say bulky is an extra D12 of damage. It's a big ass thing, but to hit with it is to roll 3d12 or 4d12 if you're rolling is to initially, without spending a lunar die, roll 3d12 and take the lowest result.
That makes sense to me.
If you then spend a lunar die, you are rolling 1d12 plus your lunar die.
Great.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe of like a bulky object. It's tough to swing, but if you hit with it, it's going to ruin someone's day.
I accept these terms.
So you come crashing down. You are hurled off of the meteor's form.
I just skid on my pads on my back, just like sliding on the moon rock.
Does a roll, kicks out legs, kicks out arm. All right, I'm gonna cash that in.
All right, thank you. Hey, what was your name?
It's great. God damn it! This is I should have been ready. I knew it. I knew it was gonna be asked. I should have been ready.
I'm sorry. We might not be that close, Moonrock. I apologize. I don't mean to pry. It's your business, but thank you.
It's Preston Stone.
Sure. Just like, yeah, of course. Okay. Thank you, Preston. I'll always remember you until the moon kills me.
And like just starts like walking towards like a series of craters and just screams, "Hey babe, guess what?" You just hear this echoing, "What's up, Dad?" And you are on the moon. And I think the second that you land on the moon, you can sense that there are satellites and like the ISS has been pointed in your direction.
I like awkwardly wave, like I look at one and it's like a single hand up and like a little bit of wrist movement because my mouth is just completely slack jawed. I don't know how to handle this. This is real Truman Show.
We cut to news reports like Claire Hopkins, noted enemy of our beloved moon, has landed on the surface of the moon. It seems that the moon, perhaps in the name of offering a fair fight, has provided oxygen and gravity. Side note, it seems that the moon has the ability to offer oxygen and gravity to people that it deems worthy of receiving it.
That is so funny to think. It just didn't think Neil Armstrong was worthy.
It was just like, who the fuck are you?
Like, oh, you made it yourself. Fine.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm not offering it to you if you don't need it. We will continue to monitor for breaking developments. And I think the second that you land on the moon, the ground itself has got to form into sort of like Clayface fists and start smashing, right? That's the logical option in this scenario in which logic has stopped being a thing.
It's what I would do were I the moon, so.
Yeah, right? So what are you doing in that instance?
I think now is the time to not use my skates yet, but I do want to like I'm gonna burn my armor, my pads here, where I'm just gonna try and like every time a fist rises up, I try to jump like to the slope behind it and just keep like slaloming down these hills that are being formed as these fists shoot up. This is the most annoying like level in this N64 game for sure.
Give me a roll, and if you fail it or take a complication, I'm going to hit you. If you take a complication, I'm going to hit you with a D12 of damage. If you fail the roll, I'm going to hit you with 2D12. And if you fail with a complication, then you'll get 2d12 of damage, and things will go as bad as I can possibly go. However, Jeff, if you need to spend that armor, you can immediately negate 1d12 of damage.
I have great news for me, and I have terrible news like narratively, because this would have been a good time for something to go wrong. But I did roll 11 and a 10, so that is a 21 total.
That is success with an advantage. So you don't even need to spend the armor. Like, I think that you are blocking and weaving, and like we are just watching almost like Matrix. Can I throw out a suggestion?
Of course.
Is this a choreographed skate sequence?
I think so, absolutely. I was like, what is the needle drop for this? And like this like
what is the need? Is it
Soul Train? Like people of the world join hands as I am like as the hands are trying to catch me, and I am like
Soul
effortlessly
Train's very
down.
fucking good. Soul Train is very funny,
and people all over the world are watching me. It's this moment of great unity. Look at the great human spirit on the face of the moon.
And everybody's watching. We're getting the shots of the bar, like going like, ooh, ooh, oh. So like you are ducking, you are weaving. And at that moment, what is the advantage that you want to kick in? What is the advantage that you get in this moment?
That is a great question. What is the advantage? I don't want it to be too, I don't want to like boundary break or like
I don't think
break.
that's possible in this exact scenario.
No, I mean, I think like I see the face. I see like the Lumiere brothers like face of the moon. I land on a fist and I am face to face with it at last.
All right, I know exactly. I've been waiting for this moment because I knew that this was going to be a thing.
Inevitable, of course.
And what you see, like you duck, you weave, you come upon what you can tell is the face. It's hard because you're standing on it, so you're seeing a lot of like details. But the one thing that you clearly see is a large bullet is lodged in like what you can tell is the eye of this moon.
I put a hand down and they're like, something bad happened here. And then we get a wide shot of the fucking like, bullet that's been lodged there. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Scowling face. What are you doing?
Pull my hand back. Heard you were mad. I heard we had a score to settle, you and I.
That's right. Put him up, motherfucker.
I'm here, aren't I?
Get her!
Shit. Looking around.
Like, surround you.
That didn't go how I thought it would go. That's on me.
And there's just a bunch of golems rushing you at this moment. What are you doing?
Okay, let's use that big hammer.
All right.
Let me gamble with this. So I roll 3 and take the lower 2.
Roll 3 and take the lower 2.
Yes. Okay. That's a 7, 4, 9. So 7 and 4, 11.
11's a success with a complication. I'm going to have you take 3 damage.
I can live with that.
It's mostly muscle strain, I think. And roll me 2d12 damage to hit one of these golems.
5 plus 4, 9.
These golems are kind of a mob deal, and they are just like, you are bashing them up real good. You are tearing into them. As like he's like, you feel the moon chuckling and like mumbling like he's watching a boxing match, like get him, yeah, duck. No, don't let her swing, don't let her use the rebar. Oh man, come on, left, right. And like, I think what you notice is that the bullet is like, as they're doing that, there's a lot of eyebrow movement, a lot of face movement. It's a very emotive moon. And the bullet is becoming unsteady.
Okay, that the question of do I want it unsteady or do I want it further in is weighing on my mind, weighing on Claire's mind of like, okay, what is the actual objective here? Well, I'm not. He's certainly not going to tell me. So I think I am just going to, at great personal risk, but that is the game we're playing. I'm going to try and like shot put, throw, or it's more like a hammer toss. Like throw my hammer at the bullet and try and like. Let's knock it loose. Let's just see what happens. Or like we'll try. I'm sure this will not be an easy task, but I'm trying to hit it with it.
If you would like to, I'm gonna tell you what I want, and you tell me what feels like the fair trade-off for this.
Okay.
If you throw your entire body into this and take some damage, well, I'm gonna say like half of a D12. Do you think that negates the weight of the heaviness and allows you to roll 2d12? Do you think that allows an instant success? What do you think the vibe is for that trade-off?
I like it being like an exchange. So I don't think it's an instant success. I am more than happy to just say that like by using the weight in a positive way to like really hurl that sucker and use its own like momentum, then we can spin that to a success, and I will happily take like physical strain.
Yeah,
for
then roll me half of a d12 for damage that you're gonna take, and then you can roll 2d12 to use this to throw this, and also take a lunar die because that is a clever solution. And I think that like the moon's reaction to this is going to change its phase.
All right, I rolled a 9 for damage, so I'll round that up. I'll take 5 damage. I think that's fair.
Sure.
Okay, so that's for that. So then we roll to do it. Okay, so that was a 2 and a 12, so a 14.
14, that is a success. You smash the bullet, it leaves, and the moon kind of spins a little bit from the momentum of this bullet coming unlodged. And that changes the phase of the moon to gibbous, which means that now you gain lunar die when you stop and reflect on the situation to come to a conclusion, no matter how not the time for it is.
I'm going to do that immediately.
All right, you take a lunar die. What's the conclusion that you're coming to?
What is, because I don't know anything about its expression or like reaction except that it like spun the thing. But okay, so that is the conclusion I come to, which is like, okay, hold on. I am not just like knocking stuff around. I can literally change the face of the moon up here. I can change the phase, which means I have some kind of leverage, I think. I decide that I'm going to use that to negotiate with the moon.
Okay, I'll buy it. It's time for negotiation. I think like you do this and the moon goes, everybody back up, hold your fire.
That's right, you gibbous fuck.
You are not in a position to be running your fucking mouth right now, to be clear. But I'm open to a discussion. You seem like you got something to say.
I might have overstepped, fair enough. You definitely still hold the power here. All right. You are the moon, I'm a person.
All right. And what is it you want to say here?
First question, why me specifically?
And I think I'm going to give you an answer and have you roll not to get an answer, but to get something X to be able to, you know what? This is we're going powered by the apocalypse here.
Sure.
I am going to have you roll. If you get a success, you can ask a question. In addition to getting the answer, the short form answer to that, to what you're about to hear. If you get an advantage, you can ask a second question. If you get a complication, you can ask a second question, but it will have a very bad answer. And if you had a failure, then the only question that you can ask will be very, very bad for you.
Great. All right. First one's a 1. Second one's a 10. So 11 total.
11, that is a success with a complication. So you can ask 2 questions after I tell you what I'm about to tell you. But great. One of them will be very bad for you.
Fantastic.
What this is, I think like what she says is, Because you fucking shot me. You shot me with a cannon. It's right there in the bullet. Your name was on it.
Boy, I wish
Claire
I'd looked at that
Hopkins,
bullet.
Blade Runner Roller Rink Pleasantville.
I wish I'd looked at that bullet before I knocked it away.
I think it's like slowly floating.
Yeah, I go, hold on just a second, and I like roller skate over to like look as it floats. I'm
You
like,
could
huh.
you can make a roll to try and like jump onto the bullet if you want to.
I let me leave that on the mantle for a
Yeah.
second. 'Cause let me ask my second question, see how that goes.
All right.
So my question goes, but I personally didn't, right? Does that matter to you?
How the fuck would I know that?
Damn. Okay, fair enough.
I was in space.
Shannon impasse here.
Let me ask you this. Let me turn this around.
Okay.
Do you know what the fuck is happening on the moon right now? I mean, you do at this moment, but like
Yeah,
yesterday.
No, I did
Before,
not
I guess
know.
when you were planning to shoot me in the face.
I did not know this. No.
Then why would I know what is happening on the blue one?
Damn, got my ass. I'm sorry, Moon. You're right.
That's, I appreciate you recognizing that. You have one final question, which may not go the way that you want.
I mean, I think it's the obvious one, and I can easily see how it's not going to go well. It's like, well, how do we move past this, you and I?
Let me shoot you in the face.
No, With
And the meteors bring out an old-timey cannon.
what the fuck? Did you build that, or how'd you get this?
Oh, so what? We can't build cannons now?
Oh my god, that's not what I fucking. It's not that you can't. It's that I don't know why you would until this very moment. So
Because
I
we
guess I
wanted to
answered my own
shoot you in the
question.
face.
Yeah, you're right. No, I answered my own question. You got me. You got me dead to rights on that one, Moon.
There were moon landers all over the place. We kind of just retro built it from there.
Okay, this is.
Let me shoot you in the face.
Can I get a running start?
Yes, but I'm going to stop giving you gravity.
Perfect. I don't say perfect because that's internally. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what I was hoping for. And I say, you have a deal.
All right, load up the cannon. We're going to shoot her in the face. Meteors start they grab a cannonball, start just polishing it off, they load it in, they're patting it down.
I
It's a
look toward the
whole
nearest
ordeal.
satellite and I give like a shaky thumbs up and a wince that's supposed to be a smile. Like, I got this.
Great news in the ongoing conflict between Claire Hopkins and the moon. A truce has been made. Claire Hopkins has agreed to be shot in the face in exchange for an ending of the tense situation at play. Wonderful show of negotiation skills from our beloved moon. More information as it develops.
Boy, if I knew the moon was getting the positive spin on this, I'm going to be so mad if I make it back to Earth.
So what are you doing now?
I am like limbering up. I'm like standing a distance away. And my plan is that when they fire it and the gravity turns off, one, I'm hoping that when the cannon fires backwards due to like the laws of thermodynamics, it'll, I don't know, do something useful for me, whether that is like hit the moon or just hit some golems and make a path or something. The other thing that I'm planning to do is I'm going to wheel my way out of this one. I'm going to roller skate my way out of this bad boy. And my plan is to, as soon as I can, jump, like roll and jump and see if I can just float out of the way.
You know what? Take a second lunar die. That's a good.
Nice.
You've made a plan and you've done reflecting and come to a conclusion. and you've been doing this math as they've just been like patting a cannon, like tapping it down.
I've got like my Jimmy Neutron brain blast, but it's just footage of the astronauts like bouncing up and down in low gravity. It's like, gravity.
They're getting ready. They've brought out a standing trampoline, and you just hear kaboom, and you see them fire off a test shot into a like a trampoline sheet.
That went faster than I thought it would. Okay, I better do these calculations again. Okay.
All right, roll me 2d12 to see if your plan goes off without a hitch.
And I would like to preemptively use my lunar die.
All right, roll 3d12, add them all together.
Okay, total, that is a 30.
30.
That is, I wish I could send you the screenshot from my dice app. It is. I feel so blessed. I've broken the scale. This is not on the numerical scale.
That's why I'm checking. You just add an extra lunar die. I had to check and make sure that it wasn't a take the two highest. That's success with an advantage, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, that's success with an advantage. I think that, like, you stand there, they line up the cannon, the moon goes, hey, just for the record, it's pretty chill that you're going to let me shoot you in the face.
Listen, what else can I do? You're the moon.
You could have said no.
I could have, but then you would have killed me. And, like, listen, I'm a pretty realistic person, usually.
All right. Well, hey, respect. It takes a lot of guts to shoot somebody in the face, have them live, and then realize that you got to get shot in the face in return.
And listen, for what it's worth, I appreciate how honest you've been with the whole thing. You have not lied to me once during this situation, Moon.
You met me face to face. You made this a straightforward fight, and we got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fellas, shoot her in the face.
This whole time, without the moon noticing, I've been I've got my rollerblades on. I've been slowly rocking back and forth, like one leg forward, one backwards, back and forth, to build up momentum, so that when the time comes, I'm just gonna fire like a rocket on these bad boys.
All right, so then I think that roll me 2d12 and we'll see what happens.
15.
That is a success. What's the advantage that you get from the previous roll?
I want to say the advantage that the moon and I, the honor that emerged from that last conversation is what I would like the advantage to be. That feels good. Yeah.
The moon hates you, but damn it, do they respect you?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. This is so stupid. The end of Anchorman when Vince Vaughn is like, I hate you so much, but god damn it, do I respect you? Lets me off the ladder.
So yeah, they fire as the gravity goes off, and sure enough, you watch the cannon hurtle off in his face, and the two meteors just scratch the back of their heads. Well, fuck. Guess we should have strapped it down, maybe. I mean, good to know for next time.
Little management tip, always make sure you have more in the back.
Yeah, well, good experiment. And they're having this conversation. The cannon has hurtled off into the abyss. You have time to run, leap, dodge the cannonball, and you land directly onto this oversized 3-person-sized bullet casing. It is hollow on the inside, as it was intended to be driven by people, at least in theory.
Rubbing my hands together.
Let's see. Do you head inside?
I do. I absolutely do.
What you find are skeletons, for one.
I unceremoniously push them out of the chair.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you notice is this was a corporate-funded product test that went horribly awry. And part of that was that they collected art from children to line the inside of this thing to make the people flying it feel like heroes. And sure enough,
that is the funniest. Picturing we scarred the face of the heavens, and it's sponsored by the Ronald McDonald Club, and it's just full of shitty finger paintings.
Sure enough, on one of the paintings is a kid roller skating.
God.
And there's a taller fucking stick figure. And it says Claire Hopkins, Blade Runner roller ring, Pleasantville.
The thing that pisses me off is that there's other the kids' line work is so sloppy, but their penmanship on my name was perfect.
Oh, and there's other writing that is illegible.
It's awful. And the only thing that is readable is my fucking name. I just thanks, kid.
So now you know why the moon. Now you know at least why the moon fucking hates you. So what are you gonna do about it?
I say, if there's I don't know, a comms thing in the ship, I turn it on. All right, I'm just hitting buttons, and maybe I'm just yelling out.
Give me a 2d12 roll.
Perfect. 13, 7 and 6.
13. That is a success. The com flips on. You got Roger.
Hey, gang. Coming home from the moon.
Is it? Wait, is this Claire? Is this
Claire Hopkins? It's Claire Hopkins.
From the
me.
moon?
Yes.
Oh my god, gang, we got Claire. Can we hold on? Can you give a quote about how the delicious taste of Wendy's cheeseburgers gave you the motivation to get back to Earth? Is that something that you would be okay with us doing in exchange for taking our ship back to the planet, side?
Look, listen,
just like even if you want us to ghostwrite it, we could talk about how like our always fresh, never frozen patties.
Yeah, send me some copy. That's fine. Can you pay me for it?
No, well, you're gonna use it's sort of a labor trade in exchange for our capsule coming back to Earth.
Okay, just a second. I'm getting another call. I want to switch it. I want to talk to the moon. I want to have a speaker to talk to the moon or something.
Get the fuck back here, coward.
Hey, listen.
I thought I respected you for a second, and now you're gonna run?
Listen, hey, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I didn't fire this, but I just got on the horn with the people who did. What do you say, Moon? Give me a little kick, and I will hand deliver this back with all the speed and force of terminal velocity.
Give me a 2d12 roll.
I'd like to use my other lunar dice of inspiration, please.
All right.
15. So
that works.
It was an 11 without that third dice. So thank God.
That works. And the moon's disposition changes its phase.
Listen, Moon, what happened to you was truly unjust, and I'm so sorry, and I will make it right.
I randomly rolled to change the moon's phase, and I need it noted. Because it switches to a crescent moon.
Nice.
And in this moment, you are sticking by a person to following them through hell or high water, no matter how dangerous it could be, so take a lunar die.
Yes, me and the moon. Who'd have thought we'd end up like this?
You promised that you're going to get vengeance on the people that shot me in the face.
Absolutely. They ruined both of our days. I'm going to shoot them. I mean, I think this thing is going to hit more than the face. But yes, I will aim for the face as best as I can.
Okay.
Give me a little kick.
Here's what we can do. Hey, Preston! Preston.
Yo, Preston!
Preston rolls out with his boyfriend Beslin Stone.
Wonderful. They're doing the slow walk from Apollo 13 in their moon suits.
Holding another piece of rebar like it's the fucking suitcases. Just walking. Can you do me a favor? Can you hollow out your insides and wrap this woman up so that if you land, she's not splattered? Preston sits here saying, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't fucking see why not.
Thank you, Preston.
I want you to think about the most horrifying sound that you've ever heard, Ryan. And I want you to imagine the sound of a human being disemboweling themselves while nonchalantly telling their partner about the roller rink classes that they signed up for. But like carving out stone and flesh all at the same time. They're just, it's great because I think that we don't dance anymore, I think that we used to dance, and I think that rock, and it's just like clawing in his mid, just, when I look at you, Beslin, I want to dance. I want to dance for you, and Beslin is like, I love you so much. You're the light of my life. And finally, like, having hollowed out his middle, completely painlessly, but still just pretty fucked up to watch.
Yeah, I'm like... I'm so like green in the face right now, just like watching. I'm like a Junji Ito drawing of just like abject fear of what I just saw.
Walks over and sits down. Go ahead and hop in, and we're going.
Without really understanding, without feeling like I'm in control of my body, I get inside.
And the rocket comes down. We cut to Wendy's Operation Moonburger.
They're mission control. They're freaking out inside. They've got like all these Dopplers all over the place.
We got some kind of moon creature coming. We got We got Hopkins on her way. This is a great day. We need to get an interview. We need to get an interview with the moon creature. We need to get an interview with the moon creature. We think, here's the thing, everybody. I know we're going to say we get the moon creature to embrace cheeseburgers. I know, I get it. But hear me out. We're going to talk about the frosty side of the moon. Just holds their arms wide like a fucking Don Draper. Like
that feels like it already exists. That feels real. That feels so true to the Wendy's brand.
So yeah, we see this come down, crashes through a wall. Roll me a 2d12 to see how successful the descent back into Earth is.
That is a 9 and a 3, a 12.
Would you like to upgrade that to a success by spending one of your points of hate?
I would love to. Yes. Now I haven't used any hate all game. So yeah, I am like I'm like inside Preston, like gritting myself through the G-forces again out of pure force of will.
Preston is going, yeah! The bullet is hurtling towards Earth. It's a fucking Oppenheimer ass bunker, right? Like
yeah,
it's a
100%.
largely underground Resident Evil style vibes. You just punch
you
through
see it like smashing through like the scorpion door and the snake door and all these like finding the keys would have been a nightmare, but we're not doing that.
And it just punches through the roof and starts punching through floors. There is chaos. People are scrambling, and you land at the lowest level, the director level. The person in charge of planning Operation Moonburger. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm fully just envisioning the architect from The Matrix.
Of course, yeah.
Just sitting all...
This is the 6th time we've shot the moon, and we're becoming increasingly proficient at it.
And here's the thing. At first, I just thought of that because it's funny to picture, like, the final thing is in the room with an old guy in an all-white suit. But then I remember that Dave Thomas also wore an all-white outfit.
There you go. It's all coming together.
But also, so did I'm half mixing this up with the Colonel.
It is this. That's very good that these three strange. Can it be just like three of them? It's three old guys in a white suits. It is
corporate mergers.
Dave Thomas, a strange Colonel adjacent character, and then just literally a guy who's the architect. Like these are the Wendy's brain trust. We found them. This unholy trinity of fast food domination.
It's Wendy's, KFC, and
it's Jack in the Box. It's Jack
from Jack
underneath the head. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, it's full suit, but Jack in the Box head. While just sitting in chairs discussing with one another. Frosty Side of the Moon has market potential. That has markets. The problem is that they're going to want credit for Frosty Side of the Moon, and we really want it to feel like it came up organically, so we will, have to get them to sign a boom.
Gentlemen.
I see you've returned.
I have.
I'm here too.
Preston is also here.
I assume you have demands?
Not really demands so much as a message.
We are listening.
I think I do. Like, is that Jack in the Box? Okay. Anyway,
regionally, yes, we also go by Carl Jr. at times.
Sure.
I think I might be mixing up my.
I think that's Hardee's. Actually, I think that is Hardee's.
That is
goes by Carl's Jr.
You are correct.
That's a lower level situation. They haven't come up the rung. I would like to off screen have like fabricated a weapon somehow. Can I roll to see if I can do that? Great. Okay, that is. I'm going to use another inspiration die because I got an 8.
You can you can spend one of your lunar die, or you can pump that up to a success with complication. Or why don't you roll your lunar die, see what it adds to it, and then you can spend a hate from there.
All right, that added 4, so now it's up to 12. So I will use some hate.
All right, what's the weapon that you have fashioned?
I think it's not necessarily fashioned, but I think so. They had like an old timey cannon up there.
Sure.
I would like for Preston or maybe Beslin to have handed or like prepared for me, or maybe like on the way down, I was like, "Hey, Preston, can you ask Beslin to bring me something?" And Beslin like goes back to the moon, comes back to me, mid-air delivery.
I think it's even better. I think before you take off, Beslin really solemnly walks up to you, hands you this gun, and says, "You take care of the love of my life, God damn it."
Of course. And I think it is an antique, like, flintlock pistol. It is like a pirate ass gun.
Solemnly hands you this flintlock pistol. You bring the love of my life back, and you bring him back in one piece, God damn it.
Absolutely. I mean, he carved out a big ass piece, but this piece, yes.
We can put it back when he gets back.
Wow. Interesting.
Our biology is all kinds of fucked.
You get out there and you
do your job.
Anyway, I lift up the flintlock pistol. And I say, my message is, I hate you to the moon and back. And then bang, bang, bang.
I'm not even gonna ask for a roll. I think
just smash to credits.
Bang, bang, bang. Smash to black. Smash to credits. The moon fucking hates you.
Yeah.
And I think that's game.
Boom. Now there's a story. There's a game for you.
That was a fucking roller coaster. Do we feel that we got what we wanted out of that gameplay experience?
Oh, all that and more. Absolutely.
I'm so tickled. That ruled. What was your favorite moment of play?
I think so. One early moment that I thought was great, and if things had broken a different way, I would have made a bigger deal. Was the fact that the moon gave me oxygen. It was like, you are a worthy opponent. Please meet me in my house. That is a very like, a very like, I need an equal. That's the Dragon Ball Z thing of like, let us go. Come fight me where you are comfortable, so we can give it our best. Which I thought was great.
That's very funny.
I think like the very quick way we went from like calling home and then realizing that like the people home are the true enemy and being like, well, I will now immediately broker a deal with the moon.
That was great.
Happened so quickly. Yeah.
That the speed. I feel like the speed of the thing I really loved was I feel like there were a lot of very quick escalations, de-escalations, pivots. I feel like just the fun for me was just going, all right, how do we change the entire situation in this moment? Whereas like we're in a disaster movie and then the meteor wakes up. It's like, okay, I see what's about to happen.
Yeah. Getting to the moon so quickly was great because it was like, all right, well, let's see what, I like it when something like hits the like act break way earlier than you think. And you have to sort of realize like, oh, this is not the story I thought I was getting.
That maybe was my favorite moment, was like thinking, cause like, in my head, I had no idea how you were going to get to the moon or like what that was going to look like. The second you succeeded at that role, I was like, I guess it just happens.
All right.
And then truly
Primo
like
GM, like, I guess so. Let's see. Yeah.
It's big Casey Green, I guess, energy. And I think that like the oxygen beat just truly being like you landing and me going, well, I don't want you to just die straight up in space. Very funny.
Right. It felt so like, yeah, of course. Why not?
Yeah. Which I think was the energy that I really wanted, was like a certain degree of, sure, why not let this be the case? And I think that we hit that very well.
I think it was so clear that, the way that you're like, the moon has personality, the moon hates you. And this is also a benefit of the game. It's like, well, as long as it's something the moon wants to happen and it feels earned and reasonable, there was none of our logical leaps felt like they came out of nowhere because they were all rooted in the fact that the moon wanted to get at me personally. So that worked.
I will say a moment of gameplay that really fucking jazzed me up was when you asked the question, how do we settle this? And I was like, I know it's got to go badly. Just let me shoot you in the face.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. It was exactly what I was like. My head was like, oh, the moon's just going to say, I'm going to kill you. But like the specificity of let me shoot you in the face. I was like, okay, we can play with this. We can
really
work with
funny.
that.
Really very funny. Thank you so much for playing this with me. I had such an absolute delight.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful time.
So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me on Twitter, I'm going to call it that, at Ryan Lacheese, on Blue Sky at Ryan.Stevens. You can find Nation of Animation on Blue Sky at Nation of Animation, and Blank City Nowhere at Blank City Pod on all socials. And thank you so much for having me.
This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. I am absolutely delighted. This fucking ruled. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take a future me. Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to Ryan for coming onto the show. That game is so funny. I laughed so much playing that game. I laughed so much editing that game. It's just very, very fun. Very funny. I've been giggling about it for months since we played it. And the entire time that I spent editing, this was a joy. This was an absolute delight. Be sure to head to hollycrown.itch.io or check the show notes to pick up your own copy of The Moon Fucking Hates You. And be sure to check the show notes for links to all of Ryan's work, the Nation of Animation podcast, or follow Ryan on social media at Ryan Stevens.
You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending.
And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast and join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logos by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.